Speaking of can't drive 55, how about Scott Dixon?
Scott Dixon's on hold, but let's all say it one time. Everybody say, hey, Bubba's turning one, 55! Scott Dixon, 5-time Indy champion. He's got an Indianapolis 500 win under his belt, 18 seasons, and currently third in points, and will be coming to our home state of Alabama for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama coming up April 5th through 7th at beautiful Barber Motorsports Park. Scott Dixon, welcome back to Rick and Bubba.
It's all about fives this morning, so happy birthday, man. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Scott can
That's all I was calling in for, man. I'll talk to you guys next week, maybe. No. Looking forward to it, man. Love Alabama. It's been a fantastic track for us, in the past. Last year was a little wet. I think we had to race on Monday, too, maybe. I can't remember. But, looking forward to getting back down there. And we were there in November, December testing, and we've had a bit of an up and down start so far, but looking forward to getting going again.
Well, I mean, you've moved up to 3, so that's not bad. I mean, you're within striking distance where you want to be, so this race will be important for you. You, as you said, you've done well there in the past, but you guys have been racing here long enough now where you've got it kind of you know the track pretty well. But more importantly, have you learned, Scott, about the Southern culture? I mean, you had to learn that when the Indy Series started coming down south. Do you know like where to eat and what to do when you come to Alabama now?
We get confined, which is a beautiful place to get confined to as far as the track, but we don't get to travel out too much. The days are long. We get on Thursday. We're there through Sunday, but literally you're running around from 7 a.m. to probably 7 p.m. So it's, I think with the years that we've spent in Alabama, we've definitely got around a little bit, It's good spots, lots of good spots.
Well, talk to us about the track itself. How do you race different there?
So I think a lot of people generally, when we first went there, didn't think the track was going to be very good for IndyCar because I guess a lot of it is mostly designed for motorbike racing, but it's actually turned out to be one of the best tracks as far as racing, as far as passing. One of the best shows that we have all year for road courses. But it's a tricky circuit in the fact that it's got a lot of elevation change, so it's a lot of blind corners. It's very high speed. It's got a lot of grip, so the cars are very fast around there. And it's very physical. It's super physical, man. Like if you have a race that goes from green to checker or a lot of green flag running, it's very physical on the body, the neck especially.
Yeah, as far as your car, obviously you've done some testing there, and the courses are all different. Do you have a good car for a road course like this? Do you feel like you got a good car for this race?
We better do, man. Like that's we're going there to win. But no, I think we've had decent cars in the past. I think I've maybe had 5 second place finishes there, something crazy. We've never actually won there, but we've had a lot of podiums. I think I've only missed the podium once or twice. So we, I think we have a good base setup for the PNC Bank, PNC Bank number 9. It's a big weekend also for Honda, being one of their home races with their facilities out in Alabama as well. So we hopefully can fly the flag, but ultimately we're going there to win. So that's unless we win, we're not going to be too happy.
We've had Scott with us a number of times. Scott did Speedy. We've even had you in studio, and Bama Mark gave you his belt. But I don't know if you remember that. We had you on before.
I didn't forget that.
One thing about Barbers you mentioned is that there's not many opportunities to change your position. Didn't you say there was only like 1 or 2 chances to even pass anybody? Or you get locked down?
Turn 5, like into that hairpin, I think is where most people, and then I think like the second to last corner, turn 16 or 15, you can get pretty sneaky there. But with the degradation and the way the tires fall off and how the cars sort of change throughout the run, you can pass just about anywhere. Kind of out of turn 8 onto the back straight. That 15, 16, into 1. Sometimes you can get quite tricky out of the last corner in 17. So it's I don't know. It's a corner that a track rather that the tires do wear and fall off a little bit, so it creates a lot of exciting passing, and especially with IndyCar with our overtake, which we get I think about 150 seconds there, which is another 50 horsepower. once you push that button, which is pretty cool. Plus, the differences between the black and red tires. You have a low grip tire and then a high grip tire, and they change different throughout the race. So it's I think there's some good opportunities there, and as we've seen in the past, there's been a ton of options to try and get around people.
I'm about to win myself over to you here, I believe, with this next statement. I actually had the honor of meeting a man who does great work for the church. He actually does the work in India, but he is from New Zealand, and and we met at my local church, and we actually support them. My wife's been on a mission trip there, and to show thanks for that, guess what he sent me? An All Blacks jersey.
Yeah, there we go, man.
Yeah,
is rugby big? Is rugby big down there or not really?
It's picking up a little momentum. Because we like American football, and rugby's not that far removed. We actually understand rugby more than we do soccer, and so rugby. There's some club teams that are picking up, and it's getting more and more popular. And but when he gave me that jersey, I realized that it was a big deal. Then I watched. I guess it was Amazon Prime.
Yes,
did a series where they went behind the scenes with the All Blacks for a few seasons, or maybe a season or two. Yeah. And it was amazing to try to figure out the season and the different things they play for. But I was blown away by the commitment to excellence with the All Blacks. I loved it.
Yeah, the All Blacks, I think it's the winningest team in sports history, right? Like they're current champions of the World Cup. But, it's definitely part of, the New Zealand culture. Everybody, is very proud of, the All Blacks and what they've been able to achieve. But, sort of growing up, it's really about, rugby, sailing, cricket, a lot of outdoor sports down there. But, those three sports I just named, Americans probably don't, know too much about, apart from, the America's Cup, which actually New Zealand just won the America's Cup a few years back too. So it's been, we're a strong sports country. We try to do the best we can. It's very small. There's only about 4.5 million of us.
The rugby, I think, would eventually catch on here. Cricket, I'm not sure about. We just can't really fathom that one, Scott.
We would definitely do the short version. No way we'd do the long version.
Right.
Well, that's what I still can't work out about cricket, is that they will have a 5-day match, a 5-day game, and they will still draw. Even after 5 days, they can't figure out who is the best team.
Yeah, I think after 5 days, somebody has to go away the winner.
Yeah, I mean, after we
exactly.
My oldest son actually played American football in college, and a rugby team asked him to play with them, and he was like, well, I only know a little bit about it, but because of that connection, he actually was able to pick up the game, he said, pretty quick. I bet. So I think that some of the rules, the more detailed, he didn't know, but the way it worked and the way the offenses work and the defense
get it and run.
Yeah, they're running an option just about the whole time. We call it an option in American football, where as long as you stay behind me, I can pitch you the ball.
Yeah,
and
no pads on.
It's very fluid though, right? Like it's continuous play, whereas I think with definitely with American football, which I didn't understand to start with, but the strategy side is crazy.
You have to stop.
The stop and go.
That team had asked Blake.
Why is everybody stopping? They're stopping for a lunch break, or what's going on here?
They say by the time an American football game is over, there's only about 18 minutes of actual action.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
That's crazy, isn't that? Because it goes for what, 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah, so now about 3 and a half.
Rick, that team that asked Blake, they were out of Georgia. They were called the All Peach team, right?
All Peach. Well, Scott, it's good to talk to you, man. And do you still call home New Zealand, or where do you live now?
Well, I live in Indianapolis. The team's based out of here,
sure.
and our kids go to school and stuff here. But yeah, I get home, 2-3 times a year. New Zealand's still home to me. They have direct flights, out of Houston and Chicago now, which is definitely a big help for this side of the world. But I still call home New Zealand, man.
Well, it's on my bucket list. One of the countries that we've got to visit. A lot of countries I've never been there, but we certainly want to. So we will definitely
come down.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Thanks for taking time to be with us, and Scott, look forward to you being back in Alabama coming up on April 5th through the 7th. Honda Grand Prix of Alabama. Scott Dixon and all the others in the Indy Series will be there. Mario Andretti will be the Grand Marshal. And you can get all the details by going to barberracingevents.com, barberracingevents.com, or just go to rickandbubba.com in the show notes. Scott, thanks a lot, buddy. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.